According to the World Health Organization, about 34,000 newborns died from neonatal tetanus. This infection accounts for about 20% of deaths in children under 5. Today on Sound Health, we will find out how to achieve a country free of maternal and neonatal tetanus. I'm Olasumbo Modukwe. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's still Sound Health on Lagos Television, and today we are looking at how to achieve a country free of maternal and neonatal tetanus. And I have with me a consultant gynecologist, Dr. Chukwuemeka Odeiga. Welcome to Sound Health.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, for the benefit of viewers, what is maternal neonatal tetanus, popularly called MNT?
Before describing maternal and neonatal tetanus, then we should first of all define tetanus first. So tetanus is an acute disease. Acute means something of sudden onset, okay, that has manifestations, okay, in the motor and autonomic nervous system. Motor means movement, the skeletal muscles, okay, and the autonomic nervous system meaning the part of the nervous system that controls involuntary actions in the body, like the functioning of the heart, you know, and other things, you know. So it's an acute disease with manifestations in the motor and the autonomic nervous system. Now when we say maternal and neonatal tetanus, maternal tetanus means tetanus is happening while the woman is pregnant or within 6 weeks of delivery, or termination of a pregnancy, however that pregnancy ends. It could end through a miscarriage, it could end through an induced abortion or some other way. But if it happens while pregnant or within 6 weeks of termination of the pregnancy. Neonatal tetanus, a neonate is a baby within the first month of life, the first 28 days of life. So neonatal tetanus means tetanus occurring within the first 28 days of life in a baby.
Okay. How come women and newborn are exposed to this life-threatening infection?
Tetanus can affect anybody, but particularly women and neonates are particularly at risk. And some of the practices that expose this group of people to a higher risk include delivery practices, unhygienic delivery practices, delivering in unclean environment, you know, and also particularly for the neonates, you know, if we don't care for the umbilical cord stump, you know, after delivery, if improper care of the umbilical cord stump, those are common ways in which this group of people are exposed. Because the spores of the tetanus, the tetanus spores that actually produce the toxins that are responsible for the disease are found everywhere. They're everywhere on the soil, you know. So it's everywhere in the environment. So it's so easy to be exposed to this.
Okay, but deliveries are expected to be taken in the most hygienic environment. How would you rate the hygienic delivery and cord care practices in the country?
Well, the fact of it still remains that if we talk about access to maternity services in the country, is still very low, and this reflects in the maternal mortality ratio and the perinatal mortality rates. The maternal mortality ratio in Nigeria, at least at the last national demographic health survey, was still quite high, about 545 per 100,000 births, you know. And I think our own indices are just a little better than certain countries like Bangladesh and things like that. So a lot of our women are still not don't have access, you know, to good maternity care. So a lot of women end up delivering in traditional birth attendance places, you know. Some deliver at home, you know. So unsupervised deliveries. So such things are not unusual. And then other things too that can also help to reduce the risk, such as maternal vaccination with tetanus toxoid. Since these women, apart from maternity services, you know, they are not, a lot of them don't have access to good antenatal care. So because of this, they are not immunized, and therefore the risk is still very high.
Talking about vaccination, the World Health Organization and the UNFPA have recommended at least 2 doses of tetanus toxoid immunization for expectant mothers, but we still have high cases of fertility recorded. How did we get here?
It still boils down to lack of good antenatal care. You know, a lot of people, because of financial constraints, because of the lack of proper health insurance system in the country, you know, the access is not there. You know, sometimes too, issues with you know, gender inequality, you know, so that decisions regarding their health, women's health, are made by male members of the family, you know, husbands, fathers, brothers, and other things, you know. So all this leads to lack of access, you know, to good antenatal care. So you find that a lot of these women don't actually get immunized the way WHO has recommended, you know.
Okay. June 2017 was set by the World Health Organization for the elimination of maternal and neonatal tetanus in the country. Why is Nigeria still among the 16 countries battling with this infection?
Well, most of these countries, these 16 countries, are actually resource poor, resource constrained countries. So putting in place the facilities or the wherewithal to achieve MMT elimination is a bit difficult, you know. Apart from MMT elimination, according to the initiative that was initiated by WHO, UNICEF, and UNFPA, yes, it's actually a 3-pronged strategy, which includes maternal immunization, you know, includes hygienic delivery practices, you know, and then neonatal tetanus surveillance, you know, and then for in cases where women are not actually immunized, then other things like supplementary immunization activities. However, in resource-poor countries like Nigeria, putting in place those facilities at all levels of care, primary, secondary, tertiary, is a bit difficult, you know. Part of the thing is that we need to strengthen our healthcare system, you know. That is proper, you know, a proper referral system, you know. Cases that the lower levels of healthcare cannot handle should be escalated up, you know, and then proper funding, you know, at all healthcare centers. It doesn't cost, tetanus toxoid immunization is not expensive, you know, it doesn't cost much, you know. Delivery in a hygienic environment, you know, should be a basic minimum anywhere, you know. And then neonatal tetanus surveillance, we need teams, maybe from the Ministry of Health, you know, and then the teams from the Ministry of Health, you know, to carry out proper surveillance, you know, for these conditions. So we still have a very long way to go, you know, and the main constraint is finance.
Okay, so what are your final thoughts on achieving a country free of MNT?
Well, it is achievable. If it can be achieved in other places, then there's no reason why it cannot be achieved here in Nigeria. And another thing is that because to correct a notion, maybe for those that are not aware, you know, when we talk about elimination of MMT, we are not talking about reducing it to absolute zero, because as I said earlier, the tetanus spores are everywhere, you know. But any country, WHO considers MNT to be eliminated in any country if the rate is less than 1 for every 1,000 live births, you know. And then bearing that in mind, it's achievable here in Nigeria. I think we should learn from experiences in other countries. You know, we should increase the amount of level of our partnership with these agencies that initiated this initiative. You know, we should, particularly those of us in the health sector, you know, should participate more in advocacy. You know, we should try and advocate. We should try and lobby, get people to lobby for us in the National Assembly, you know, so that policies will be put in place which will allow this goal of elimination of MNT to be achieved. So it is highly possible.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for sharing your expertise with us on achieving a country free of maternal neonatal tetanus.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, that has been Dr. Chukwuemeka Odega, a consultant gynecologist on achieving a country free of maternal and neonatal tetanus. Sound Health continues with trending and home essentials. Please stay with us. Thanks for standing by. It's still Sound Health on Lagos Television, and I'm Olasumbo Mudupe. Innovation this week is up next. Please stay with us.
The new art of blood collection and diagnosis.
Blood test results are used to diagnose and treat many diseases, including cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, thyroid disorders, kidney disease, and many cancers. Results from a commercial lab can take from days to weeks. 7 billion lab tests are performed annually in the U.S. 7 to 8 of every 10 clinical decisions made by doctors are based on the results obtained from these blood draws. Blood collection and analysis account for 2 to 2.5% of all health spending today. The method that we have used to retrieve blood samples with a tourniquet applied to a patient's arm and a needle used to take numerous vials of blood for testing is undergoing a dramatic change. Now, hundreds of different tests can be performed from just one drop of a patient's blood. This new blood testing comes at a fraction of the cost of traditional methods with potential to provide results in a matter of hours. There's better information to clinicians. Disease can be caught in its earliest stages, and treatment can begin almost immediately.
That's Sound Health this week. Hope you've learned a few things about maternal and neonatal tetanus. For comments and inquiries, please send SMS on 0818-815-3695 or follow us on social media at HealthTV Social, #SoundHealth. A sound health is a sound mind. Make healthy living your choice.